like I can't go into my own home. My son, he always says that he feels like there's something in his room. Something watching him. The basement? No. I am terrified to go down into the basement. I cannot go down there. I'm genuinely afraid. I'm afraid for our safety. What will happen if we do stay here? Please, you have to do something. It feels so malevolent. It's like it's just a matter of time before something happens.
Now, we've been getting a lot of reports like this all across the world. Ghosts, paranormal happenings, but that's not the scary part. Well, the scary part is, more and more cases like these are, well, legitimate paranormal activity. And it's gotten a lot more aggressive and a lot more common to the living than it ever has been before. Now me, I'm the new guy. I'm the one willing to cut my teeth on these investigations and to help these poor families out. And help them I will. I have to go in there, collect the evidence, and then we send that evidence up so that we can get a team in to exorcise the evil entity in question. Now, while I don't envy them their jobs, mine, well, mine is just as dangerous. I'm the front line. I'm the scout. And if I fail, well, that's when lives get lost. I'm Michael Andrews, Paranormal Investigator. So we're here on Tanglewood Street House, where there's been reports of some activity going on, and this poor woman's afraid to even go in her own house. So we're going to get set up. Now, I'm recording this as a video journal because I'm going to send this to both the family in question, as well as our team 2 who exorcises the evil entities that we discussed. Now, what I like to do when investigating is first I'm going to grab me a thermometer, because evil spirits, they're known to leave cold dips wherever they happen to reside. I'm also going to bring me an EMF detector and my handy dandy flashlight right here. So let's go on into this house and let's see what it is we're dealing with. But we gotta be careful. We don't know just how dangerous this ghost is right here. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna want to do is see if we can get a light on. And the power is out. Did the family turn the power out, or did the spirit? Well, that's the question. Now I'm going to get some of these lights on, and then we're going to go and do a sweep of the house just to see what paranormal readings, well, scratch that, what normal readings we get, so we know what to expect for the paranormal ones. Alright, so we're getting normal EMFs, meaning we don't see a single blip on this detector. Yeah, we just like to be thorough and run through this. This is standard procedure for any paranormal investigating that you'll run into. At least any paranormal investigating worth their salt. Alright. Did you hear that? I heard a door open somewhere. Is there an entity in this house with me right now? Is there something that would like to communicate with me? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm just a little bit nervous. I've done a lot of this freelance before. I'm new with this ghost hunting company, you see. But before I joined up with this team, I did freelance work all over the place. Now that is interesting. You hear that radio get turned on? There's a radio been turned on. that we didn't touch. Whatever this thing is, it is highly active. And that could... Okay, it's already showing itself. Where is it? I don't like this. We have ourselves a highly active spirit. It's throwing things around, and it is definitely manifesting. And already I can see my breath. I don't even need to check the temperatures to know it's in here. I walked in and I could see my breath cold. There it is, and it is 27 to 30 degrees. Alright, so we're gonna go and take this thermometer out. Now what I have hooked up to me is I have something that measures my heart rate, and I have something that measures my overall mental state. So we can know just where I'm at with that. Now if I get too afraid, these paranormal entities, they feed on fear. And if you get too afeared, well, that's when they get strong. So we want to be careful with that. So what we need to do is we want to get some salt. And we want to see if we can get footsteps. And take a picture of it. That'll show that the ghost has been walking through that salt. And we want to detect the presence of a ghost with a motion sensor when we are not in the room with it. Now we already witnessed a manifestation ourselves, so we have that to go on already. But I think the first thing we need to do is find out if the entity wants to communicate with us. So I'm going to grab this here projector, and we'll get to that in a moment. But we really want to try to speak with it. Now, according to our information, we're dealing with an entity by the name of Grant Everly. When we did research into the history of the house, we found that, well, this individual, let's just say they met with an untimely fate. So we suspect that's the entity we're dealing with. Grant Everly, are you here? Are you friendly, Grant Everly? Alright, so this thing says it wants to hurt. It indicates it wants to hurt us, and I can believe it with as active as it's been. Grant, how old are you? They don't want to answer that question. So I'm going to put this projector here. That's going to show an outline of the spirit as it disturbs these dots that you see on the wall and on the floor. That'll just help us to determine if there really is a haunting. And I already can tell you, I believe there's something very malevolent in this house right now. We have so much evidence already of that we've recorded on my head cam. So I'm going to drop this spirit box right here. And let me think what we want to do next. We got to be careful. I think it's time to set up some cameras around the house so we can get a solid recording of the interior. That way we can send off these recordings. And the first thing we're going to do is place it in the room where the spirit resides. Now, we were told the son was talking about how he was afraid to be in his room. And this is very clearly the son's room, from what we've been told. So I'm going to set this camera right there, and that will explain a lot. But I also want to put another camera monitoring the hallway. Grant, are you trying to scare us away? Do you want us to leave, Grant? I don't think Grant likes us snooping around, I'll tell you what. But that's okay. We are professionals in this field. We know what we're doing. Let's get another couple cameras in just to monitor the house, and then we'll monitor the cameras for a little bit. See what we're doing. I'm also... Oh, look at that. It knocked the photo off the wall. I don't like that one little bit. But we're going to put this in high traffic areas. I can't say that I've ever dealt with such in-your-face paranormal activity. I've seen a lot of things, let me tell you. But this right here explains why the family was so scared. I'm used to dealing with stuff like this, and even I'm a little bit nervous being in here. I can only imagine how it is for someone who's not used to dealing with the paranormal on a day-to-day basis. Alright, we'll set that camera right there. Whew. Just remember, these spirits feed on fear now, so we gotta be careful not to give them too much. The stronger they are, the more nervous we're gonna become and scared, because it's only natural. But we want to avoid that. If we give them fear, they get stronger, and it keeps up. It's a vicious, never-ending cycle. Now, we also believe there may be some sort of cursed object in this home that might be an attachment for this spirit. And if we can find it, we'll document it, and we'll take it back with us. But for now, let's turn off these lights and see what we can do. At least turn off the ones in the bedroom. And I think it heard me talking about turning off them lights. You notice how they started flickering just now? This entity is definitely highly intelligent, and it is definitely a threat. Of that, I'm certain. Very aggressive. You see it flickering those lights again? It's almost like it's daring us to come in this house. Well, Grant, you are not scaring me. You are not getting me to leave this house. I will work and fight for this family that you're scaring. It is not okay, Grant. You do not have permission to bring harm to this family. And I will make sure we stop you. Yeah, you flicker them lights, Grant. See if I'm scared of you. Sometimes you gotta talk tough to these very aggressive ones because, tell you what, they try. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look. See what we can see. Oh, did you catch that already? We see an orb. See that? Right in the middle of the screen, and it floats up. That is evidence of paranormal activity, so we already got ourselves quite a bit to go on. Now, there's a number of ghosts. I'm not going to go over all the ghost types. I don't think the family needs to know all of that. But what we are going to do is talk about what we have. So we know the ghost has caused freezing temperatures where it resides, so the family's probably felt those cold chills. We also seen ourselves a ghost orb, too. So that can mean one of 4 malevolent entities that we know of, that we have classified. We've got Revenant as a possibility, we've got a Yurei as a possibility, or it could be a Hantu or an Onryo. So we're going to go in and see what other evidence we can collect to try to narrow down just what it is. Meanwhile, let's make sure our other cameras are set up, so when we're not in the house, this is still recording. Anything that moves, all of this will get documented later in the back office and sent up to the Exorcist team. Okay, so I think we need to go ahead and see if there's any ghostly fingerprints that we can detect with UV, sometimes known as ectoplasm, or ectoplasmic fingerprints, that is. They can also leave footprints, and that's how we tell if a ghost disturbs salt or not. I don't want to be in the dark with this thing. Oh, and look at that right there. We do have ourselves some fingerprints. So we got what we need. Oh, look at that right there. We got what we need already. I'm gonna go grab a UV glow stick so that I can get a picture of these fingerprints to document them. But we already know what this is. That leaves us a Hantu. Now, for the family's sake, let me tell you what you're dealing with. Go ahead and look through our journal here until we get to Hantu. Very dangerous spirit, this one. So a Hantu is quite a rare ghost, and it thrives in the coldest of climates. The cold seems to make them a lot more aggressive. It empowers the Hantu. So the lower the temperatures, the faster this spirit can move. And if it's warm, well, that's when it's going to be slow. So if this thing gets aggressive, well, we want it to be as warm as possible in that house. All right. So what we're going to do now, take a couple of these UV sticks. Because we're going to get a picture of those fingerprints. We're going to try to get some evidence of it walking through salt just to show that it is indeed a paranormal entity. And that will be that. Then we'll get on out of here. We'll clean up and go home. And as active as this thing has been, let me tell you, I am definitely glad to be getting out of this one in one piece. Let me get my camera. Alright, so let's go ahead and snap a picture of these prints right here. Let's turn out the lights. There we go. That's a good photograph right there. That one's getting a little faded, but we got it. Alright, that's all we got. So we'll clean this up. We don't need that no more. And let's see if we can find what cursed object might be hiding in this house that could have drawn the attention of such a spirit. And look at this right here. This is an old music box, and I doubt this thing right here belongs to the family, at least not originally. So we're going to take a picture, document, and I'm going to come back and bring it into our van so we can haul it on out of here. Well, our truck, that is. Listen to the silliness I'm talking. I called this a van. That just shows how nervous this thing's making me, and that's not good. So it's probably a daggone good thing I'm getting out of here soon. But we're going to pack up that music box and get it out because that family don't need to be keeping this thing around. So when you see this, Miss Walters, be careful what you bring in with you. We're just going to take this on out. And I hope that that doesn't very much heighten the aggressiveness of the creature. Being, entity, whatever you want to call this thing. Alright, we'll give one more look through the house. Make sure there's nothing else out of place. And that should be about it. Now that is a creepy ass doll, isn't it? That little teddy bear. I do not like it, let me tell you what. Oh shit. I think I just popped the breaker. Or the spirit did, I don't know which. Alright, well while we're in here, let's take a look around, see if there's anything else out of place that we might need to warn the family of. Alright, well, this thing is definitely making itself known. Did you hear it throw something? Because I sure as hell did. Like I said, I don't like it. They're afraid to go down in this basement, so let's take a peek in here. What in the hell do we have here? We got us a hand. Look at that. I definitely don't think the family had this on their own. Anything behind these boards? Well, shit on a shingle and call me a sandwich. I am taking this out of this house right now. We don't need no skeletons in the closets in here, if you know what I mean. Turn these lights back on. And we really only have one last thing that we need to do. Let's document us some ghost walking through these salt piles, and that'll be enough. Then we'll clean up and go home. That will be it. We will be gone. And I am looking forward to getting out of here. I'm going to grab a fresh camera, though. And we'll go ahead and put the salt pile down. Now, when I do this, I like to grab a few salt piles just because you never know which ones the spirit will walk into and which ones they won't. We know it's very active in this part. Now let's look in our journal here right quick. We are dealing with Grant, that's right. Alright, Spirit Grant, I know you want to communicate with us and make yourself known. Can you give us a sign of your presence? Can you show us you're here, Grant? Can you walk through these piles of salt for us? Gonna open up these closets. Grant, if you can hear me, you should be able to use the energy around you to walk through this pile of salt that's standing right in front of me. Can you do that and give us a sign that you are here? Boy, I tell you what, Grant doesn't seem very receptive to that. He definitely seems to be obsessed with the kids' room, and I don't like that. Well, the son's anyway. I really don't like that. That tells me that this thing is definitely malevolent. I don't know why else it would be in here scaring the crap out of this poor kid. Alright, Grant, I can hear you opening doors. Can you take a walk in these salt piles for us? Yeah, I see you flickering them lights, Grant. Show us your presence, entity. Show us that you are indeed here with us and you want to talk. Grant, are you in with me right now? Can you give me a sign that you're here and can hear me? You know why I'm here, don't you, Grant? You've been terrifying the little ones. You've been scaring this family to death. And it's time that you showed us you're here once and for all. You want to show you're here to the family. Show you're here to someone who's not afraid of you. I hear a lot of activity out this way. Let me just take pictures of that. I'm gonna grab another bottle of salt. And what I'm gonna do is put it out in that hallway where it seems to frequent. See if we can get any more activity. That one's empty, so we'll toss it. But let's go ahead. And let's put it out here. Seems... Oh, did you hear that? Oh, look at that. We got a nice footprint. We got the edge of a heel right there, too. Oh, look at that. We got more footprints. That's what we needed. Grant, we appreciate you doing that for us. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this back and we'll start cleaning up the mess and get out of here and go home. Investigation is complete. We've got the proof we need. Now, I'm going to leave this camera in here and grab a new one just in case. Well, we did forget it. They do want us to get some motion sensor evidence as well. That should not be too hard. With as active as this thing is, by the time we clean up everything else, we should have it. So I'm going to position this very strategically right here, so as soon as it comes out this room, we'll have what we need. And look at that. The lights turned out right in front of us. Grant is showing off. Well, what Grant doesn't know is that the more he shows off, the more evidence he gives to our exorcism team, and they can get rid of him, and then our family can be at peace. But we want to leave the house as we found it as much as we can. Now, I don't think I left a camera in the garage, did I? I know I left the light on, though. Yeah, that is right. So let's turn this light off. I never like to leave with everything kind of in a ruckus. Try to leave the house like I found it because that's the professional thing to do. Some of these amateur investigators, they just like to leave everything all torn up like they was born in a barn or something. Alright. Once again, Grant turns off the breaker because I think he knows. He's trying to make himself stronger. And if he can make it cold in the house by shutting off power and shutting off the hot water heater, well, that makes him strong. And he knows it. And we do not want that. Now I am starting to lose some of my nerves. And we do have medications that can help with that. That calms us down a little bit in the event where we're starting to get too afraid, because these things can get so dangerous they can outright attack you, and many a ghost hunter, that made me nervous, has died to their fear. That thing stepped right beside me. Did you catch that, exorcism team? Whew, boy. Boy, howdy. We still haven't detected that. I think we're going to have to put another motion sensor up. Probably in the room. But we'll pick these glow sticks up. We do not need them. Boy, I tell you what, I do not want to be in that house any longer than I have to. And I'm saying that out here and not in there, because I don't want that spirit to pick up on my fear. Probably going to put another one of these things in. Up, there we go. We weren't even in there. Did you hear that? Look at that. Our sensors up here indicate it has moved out of the room or into it. One of the two. Boy. These are dangerous times, I'm afraid. Now, to give some backstory, we got to get out of here ASAP. We do not know why the ghosts have gotten so aggressive and why there's such an increase in the amount of paranormal activity we've been seeing these days. We do not know. All we know is that's what we have been seeing. All right. There's just one piece of equipment left in that house. We're going to get it and we're going to get out. All right. Well, Grant, it is time for me to leave. This is case closed. So just to wrap up, we have gotten everything we need. We've got quite a few pictures to prove that there is indeed paranormal activity in this house. We've gotten a lot of recordings too. We're able to get pictures of the salt being disturbed, but not only that, we were able to get those ectoplasmic footprints as well as the ectoplasmic fingerprints on the doors and on the window. And we determined that we are dealing indeed with a hand 2. So with that hand 2, well, the team can come in and clean up. So to the family, when I send this to you, you do not want to move in back into this house until our exorcism team has done what they need to do. Very dangerous spirit, this Hantu. Very dangerous. And with that, that is the end of this investigation. So it is time for us to go home. That's one case down, but there's a lot more to go where that came from. I won't say it was a hard-fought battle, but I will say once again, I do stand victorious, and another entity will be sent back, well, to wherever they came from. But this is only the first of many cases. We'll see what's thrown at us next. I'm Michael Andrews, Paranormal Investigator. Good night.